Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Spann Report podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann, and this is episode number 76 of the report. Yeah, man, this is gonna be a real quick one. This one ain't going to be necessarily as long as the shows typically are. I only got one topic that I'm gonna talk about today, and yeah, man, it's it's pretty much a story that I think is on the lips and the tongues of damn near everybody in America, damn near anybody who's paying attention in America. I think everybody has been a bit captivated by what's going on with this Rachel Dolezal woman. And I want to talk about it. I really want to talk about it. I know I alluded to it and I talked a little bit about it on the last episode of the podcast, but as more and more shit comes out about this story and about this woman, and not only that, some of the interactions I've been having with brothers concerning this woman, I felt like I just had to get on the mic. I couldn't wait until Saturday. I couldn't wait until another 2 weeks because I'm not gonna do the show this weekend. I'm be out of town. My birthday is this week, so I'm gonna be out of town celebrating for my birthday or whatever. But I wanted to give you guys a show. I wanted to let you guys know what I thought about this after some more details about this story have come out. And yeah, man, this is what we're gonna do. All dolezal all day on this one. One subject today. So before I get into the meat and potatoes of the Spann Report podcast this evening, I gotta let you guys know how you can get in touch with me here at the podcast and let your voice be heard. You can hit me up at the hotline at area code 313-288-0485. This area code 313-288-0485. Leave me those voicemail messages. I will play those messages on the show and, of course, respond to you in kind. You can also hit me up on the email. The email to the show is feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Leave me those emails. I will reply to those emails live here on the show as well. You can also chop it up with your man on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms, of course, is Mr._Spann. Go there and follow those accounts, and also like me on Facebook. There's a Mr. Spann fan page on Facebook. Go and like the fan page. We're up to 269 likes on Facebook, so go ahead and like the Facebook page. And yeah, you get you'll get the updates when I put out new episodes and things like that on the Facebook fan page. Also, if you see anything extremely stupid and you want to bring some attention to it, send me those submissions to the AssHat of the week. Give me those AssHat of the week submissions at AssHat at feedback. I'm sorry, at AssHat at thespannreport.com. That's AssHat at thespannreport.com. And of course, leave your man a review. Leave me a review on iTunes and Stitcher. Yeah, 5-star preferably. And I will read those reviews on the show. If I like them, let me know what you're thinking. More than anything else, what I want from you guys is your thoughts. I want to know what you guys are thinking, and I do want to interact with you all as we go through this whole thing, man. And for all of your Spann Report needs, man, for everything you need Spann Report related, go to thespannreport.com. All of there's news segments on there. There's technology stories on there. I'm branching out the website to be more than just a podcast or repository for the podcast. So, and I'm also looking for writers, contributors to the Spannreport.com. So if you want to write about technology, if you want to write about culture, if you want to write about what's going on in the news, you just want to write, you want to get your voice heard, you want to be put on a platform, the Spannreport.com can be there for you. This is the Spann Report podcast. The Spannreport.com can be your launching pad to do some very great things, man. So yeah, if you're interested, hit me up at Mr.@thespannreport.com. That email for all interested parties will be Mr. MISTER at thespannreport.com. All right. Yeah, man. But yeah, man. Rachel Dolezal. This story has been hot for about a good 5 days. It seems like I'm gonna be honest. I've been on this shit like a dog with a bone. Like, I haven't let it go. And this is part of the reason why I'm doing this show tonight is therapeutic for me, because I got to let this shit go. I got to let this off my chest. I got to kind of speak on some of the observations that I've made as this story has gotten legs and folks are weighing in on it. And one of the things too, man, like I said, I think the last episode that I did, episode 75, man, I talked about how at first, when I first heard about Rachel Dolezal, I was a bit amused. and I was a bit confused, right? It was like, really? Like a white woman really wants to be black that bad? You know, like it was amusing and it was confusing at the same time, considering the amount of privilege that comes with being a white woman in America. So I was a bit perplexed that she would that she would go through the motions of portraying herself as a black woman in such a way, right? You know, and she's rolled this to you know, become an Africana studies teacher at what was that professor at Eastern Washington University. She's risen to become the president of the NAACP, the Spokane, Washington chapter of the NAACP. She's risen to be president of that chapter. Many people credit her with breathing new life into that organization in Spokane, Washington. And I started seeing so much. I think the thing that kind of bothered me is like the amount of deception that this woman has been able to perpetuate over the years. And not only the amount of the deception, but the amount of people defending her for said deception, right? And a lot of it's been brothers. It's been a lot of brothers dying in the Cape. A lot of brothers dying in the Cape to come defend this woman for this bullshit she's been pulling off out there in Washington, right? And so, you know, one of the things that kind of that really like kind of stuck in my craw was, you know, you started hearing more and more about Rachel Dolezal and some of the details as her metamorphosis into this this black woman, so to speak, this woman who identifies herself, who identifies as black, right? The more and more I started hearing about this, like the more and more I started getting troubled by it. It was just one of those things where it was like, okay, I get that there are some folks who are sympathetic to maybe the cause for black people. I get that there are some people who are passionate about the work that affects our community. I get that there are also allies that have helped move the movement of black people in America forward, right? That's how you get organizations like the NAACP. That's how you get the abolitionist movement to help get rid of slavery, things like that. There have been white allies that helped get rid of things that were impediments to black folks, right? We all know this. We all know that as great as we are as black people, we haven't done everything by ourselves, right? We've had some help along the way. And so it would have been no shame at all for Rachel Dolezal to be a white ally and to do all of these things as an ally to the movement. Wait, hold on a second. I'm hearing something in the background. Xbox mute. Jesus Christ. Okay. So, yeah, I'm sorry. So that shit just made me lose my train of thought. Okay. I get that, you know, for, you know, that we've always had allies. We've always had allies in the movement, right? And so there's no shame in being an ally to black people, and black people are some of the most ingratiating people. We embrace everybody, right? So when you start hearing about the fact that this woman has told so many lies and had so many different opportunities to correct these lies and just opted not to because it was convenient for her, this is when like the wheels start coming off and we start having trouble. At least I started having trouble, right? So one of the first deceptions she's kind of told people was that there was a black man that was her father, right? Especially when she started moving into these circles as far as like being in the NAACP and being a part of being a professor at Eastern Washington University. She started telling folks that this black man was her father, and she would parade this guy around as if that was her dad, right? To kind of solidify her claim to being black. That was one lie she told, right? But we know now that her mother and her father were white people. I think what's her hold on, let me pull their names up real quick, because she doesn't she doesn't acknowledge them as her mother and father. She calls them out by name. Now I don't have their names in front of me right now, but she basically says, well, I don't talk to those people anymore, and basically disowned her white family, right? So we've got the white parents who outed her, And it was funny too to see how many people were giving her parents flack. Like, why did they out her? Al Sharpton came out and said some shit about, well, why are they doing this to their child? Like, wait a minute, like their child is out here lying and like, hey, all they did was answer a question. Like, hey, is this your kid? Yeah, that's our daughter. That's a pretty. I mean, I don't know how plain cut it could be that this is her mother and father, and this black man that she's been telling everybody was her dad is in fact not her father, right? And so there's that one deception there, right? And then she claims like she grew up like for a second she was claiming Native American heritage. She grew up in a teepee. She was born in a teepee. She said she grew up hunting with a bow and arrow. What was that? It was another thing too, like the thing that kind of blew this whole shit off the lid, this blew everything off the lid, was when she started lying about receiving death threats and having nooses show up at her home because of the work that she was doing for the NAACP, right? And this is what kind of got everybody looking a little bit deeper into what it was that was going on with this woman, because the post office says, hey, we never processed these documents. These things never came through us. The only way that they could have gotten into her P.O. box would be for someone with a key to put it in there, right? And so now, because you've had all of these incidents pile up where you're trying to garner attention for yourself. Now, make no mistake, this woman has been trying to garner so much attention for herself to burnish her black cred that she got caught up telling one too many lies, right? She got caught up telling one too many lies to the point where it just really caught up with her, right? And so you've got that. And then you've got that she says she's self-identified as black since she was 5 years old, when most of her family says no, this didn't happen until after they adopted black children. Her black adopted brother Ezra has said that she started doing this around the time around her 20s, where she started trying to self-identify as a black woman. And then there was I guess the thing that really pisses me off more than anything else, because I'm at this point, you know what? Some of these details I don't care. Some of these details I really don't care, to the point where I'm just going to like go dot by dot by dot by dot, right? But what I will say is this. Rachel Dolezal wore blackness as if it was a fucking costume. Okay? Rachel Dolezal used blackness to enrich herself in such a way where she was able to go to teach Africana studies, although she could have done that as a white woman. Nobody would have stopped her to be an African American studies teacher as a white woman. She could have done that. She could have been a white woman working for the NAACP. She didn't have to lie to tell folks that she was a black woman in order to work for the NAACP. There was also the fact that in 2002, Rachel Dolezal sued Howard University for reverse discrimination because she was white. Reverse discrimination because she was white. Now, this is coming from someone who said that they self-identified as black from the age of 5. Mighty convenient to pull out the fact that I'm a white woman when it benefits you to a point where you felt like, you felt there was some discrimination made against you. So now you're a white woman because it benefits you. And this is the problem that I have. This is the problem that I have in the fact that any one of us who are actually black, we don't have that luxury. We don't have the luxury to say, you know what, I identify as black. I identify as a white man, so automatically my damn credit score should jump up maybe 100 points. I don't get to do that. I don't get to, tell a police officer if I get pulled over, well, officer, the description that you have is inaccurate because I identify myself as a white man. That shit doesn't fly. It doesn't fly. And her only real experience as a black woman is adopting her adopted brothers who she now has custody of. She's adopted the brothers that used to live with her parents who, and that was funny too. I saw somebody call her parents bigots when her parents were the ones who actually adopted these black kids. And then she adopted, she took in 2 of them to live with her. Yeah, I mean, there's so much. There's so much. But the thing that really irks me right now, is how many black men are going out of their way to shit on black women in this moment. I've seen memes of black men talking about sisters wearing weaves, blonde weaves. I've seen black men talk about this woman has done more for the black community than most black folks. All the while, they can't necessarily point to anything tangible that Rachel Dolezal has done for the black community. I have seen black men use this as a way to denigrate Caitlyn Jenner, right? Because we're fresh off of that. Folks still have that fresh in their mind that, well, if, Caitlyn Jenner can identify as a woman, how come Rachel Dolezal can't identify as a black woman? Race and gender are two different things. They aren't the same thing, right? And I'll tell you why. Ask yourself whether or not you will ever look at Bruce Jenner as a man again. Ask yourself that. Ask yourself, can Bruce Jenner ever go back to who he was now that you know that he's been this way for quite some time? And I get a lot of the backlashes because he's associated with the Kardashian name, right? So a lot of folks are just like, man, these goddamn Kardashians, man, I'm sick of them. They got the whole world taking this shit and they accepting this and everything else. Gender identification has nothing to do with misleading anybody, right? I don't think Bruce Jenner misled anybody. None of the women that he was married to felt like he was misleading them. All of them had some inkling. All of them have said so. Right? Every last one of the women that he's been married to and had kids with, they had inklings and they knew. Right? So this isn't about a deception with Caitlyn Jenner or anybody who wants to be transgender or who is transgender. This isn't about deception. This is them being who they are. Right? When it comes to what Rachel Dolezal is doing, Rachel Dolezal, again, wore it like a costume. She took it off and wore it whenever it was convenient for her to have it. So if it's going to help me become president of the NAACP, yeah, I'll be a black woman. Yeah, I'll do that. If I could actually get some sort of attention by saying that people are sending me death threats and sending nooses to my P.O. box and everything else, yeah, I can identify as a black woman. But the minute my parents come out and say, well, hey, we're actually her parents. I'm her father, and this woman like pushed her out. Yeah, they get the backlash, right? I had a conversation with a guy on Facebook today, man. It was hilarious to see this guy. To me, it was hilarious and sad at the same time. This guy go to such lengths to defend this woman despite all of the lies, right? Because he was talking about her keeping it 100. Right? Like, she's kept it 100 the whole time. It's like, dude, everything about this woman has been a lie. Everything about this woman has been a lie. Nothing she said to this point has been real. He was talking about her kids, like, the kids that her parents adopted. Those kids. You talking? Well, she did so much work in the community. Okay, can you name anything she actually was able to accomplish in the community? No. I don't get it. And especially coming from the brothers. Like I said, it's a lot of brothers that's, for whatever reason, finding themselves as the Superman of defenders when it comes to this shit. And I don't get it. And it's funny that so many of these brothers don't necessarily get that quick to become defenders of women when it's sisters. The sisters don't get that kind of ready-made defense. They don't get the dudes readily available to say, hey, no, this is fucked up. This woman was taking spaces that an actual black woman could have been in to affect changes, and she could have been an ally. But no, she's just trying to be down. We good with her just trying to be down. Okay. We gonna use this as a way to talk down about black women not doing nothing for the community. Like, man, you motherfuckers, y'all don't even in the NAACP, man. Y'all ain't even, why you care now? It's like, dude, hold up. You can make that broad sweeping statement, but again, would you be so readily available to defend sisters? Because right now you're taking this white woman to beat them over the head with what they're supposedly not doing. Would you be readily available to defend the sisters in that way? Kind of questionable. Kind of questionable, which is why I named this episode "Don't Worry, Rachel, I'll Save You," because I've been seeing a lot of brothers down in the Cape. A lot of brothers down in the Cape. And so, like I said, man, like the privilege that comes with being able for her to identify herself as black and then take it off is the thing that really, really irks me. And the fact that so many people don't necessarily see the problem, or they're ignoring the problem with that, is troublesome. It's troublesome, right? Because on two different levels, it's like, okay, you're willing to acknowledge, or you're willing to accept that this woman says she was black for whatever reason. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. You're willing to accept that. But are you willing to accept all of the lies that she told in order for her to get to this point? And are you willing to accept that this person hasn't been the most credible human being up to this point? And you're fine with that also, right? Especially when you talk about the work that she's done in the community. And we can't point to any of it, but we can point to these instances that she says happened, these domestic terroristic threats that were supposedly going on against her because of her work in the community. Again, like I said, man, like Rachel Dolezal wore our blackness like it was a goddamn costume. Like it was a costume. And at any day, any point, anytime later on, she can go right back to being a white woman, and you still dealing with the issues and the plights and the struggles of being a black person in America. That's the issue. That's the bottom line issue. Whether she self-identifies as black, whether she says she was drawing herself with black hair and brown crayon when she was 5, that's some bullshit, man. She's got now that everything's out, I gotta have this backstory. Now that everything's out, I gotta come up with some backstory quick. These motherfuckers have found me out. Y'all seen that video when that dude asked her, "Are you African American?" and she just bolted. The jig was up. The jig was up. Right? Now, we got the interview circuit. She's on the Today Show. She's on Melissa Harris Perry. I'm pretty sure there's a book coming out. I'm pretty sure there may be a movie coming out. Lifetime and get their hands all over this shit. I mean, come on. She's again benefiting off of your blackness. But this is cool. This is cool. She's down for the cause, whatever cause that may be. She's down for it. We're going to be cool with that. But what I really do want to see is, brothers, if you're going to be defending this kind of shit, then damn it, y'all for damn sure better be ready to defend these sisters when the shit hits the fan. The next sister that's dropped by the police, I need y'all to be just as defensive of her as y'all are as this motherfucker. I really do. The next time, anytime a sister is a victim of anything, I need y'all to be standing up and saying why she should have been protected, instead of trying to make it out as to why it was perfectly okay for her to be a victim in that moment. Why it was her fault. I'm going to need y'all to defend the sisters in that way. Right? So, yeah. Told y'all. Real quick. I got some listener feedback to get to, though. I got some listener feedback to get to. I got an email from the last episode. This is from the homie Taiwan. And Taiwan writes in to say, first off, love the show. Appreciate you. Secondly, he says, as for that Rachel in Washington, good for her. She ain't hindering or hurting anybody, so let her do her thing. I'm mixed. I grew up with a white mom and black dad, so racism confused me growing up. Wasn't until I got older that I had a better understanding, but I still see people before I see race. That Caitlyn Jenner thing is just confusing and a big joke to me. If he can be a woman, why can't she be black? Because they aren't the same fucking thing, bro. They are not the same fucking thing. It's a real intellectually lazy comparison to make. And it's a lot, and that's another thing too. It's a lot of folks who simply don't necessarily approve of what was going on with Caitlyn Jenner. They're using this shit for cover. It's a lot of straight up transphobic people. A lot of folks who just ain't with it, ain't with Caitlyn Jenner, ain't with trans people, period, ain't with the LGBTQ community having rights of any means, not respecting them as human beings and as people, right? It's a lot of folks using this shit right here, using this woman right here, this bullshit story she then came up with, using this as cover to say, well, hey, well, if she can't do this, then how can Caitlyn Jenner do that? They're not the same goddamn thing. I'm sorry, bro. That's just an intellectually lazy comparison, man. And on the LeBron James thing, people should get off his dick. That's some gay shit, and I'm not homophobic. I love lesbians. Just my thoughts. Taiwan. All right, bro. Yeah, the LeBron James. Yeah, you know, the brother, he gets some hate. He does get some hate, and that woman was talking real greasy out of the side of her neck. If she'd have seen that dude on the street or any other setting, she definitely would not have said that. But yeah, man, that whole comparison to Caitlyn Jenner and Rachel Dolezal, man, I've been seeing it all week. They are not the same thing. They simply are not the same thing. And everybody who's been using that, I guarantee you, most of the folks who have been using that are only using that because they don't approve of what Caitlyn Jenner did. So this is why you got media outlets like Breitbart calling Rachel Dolezal a hero. Breitbart.com, real right-wing leaning website, calling this woman a hero. Now all of a sudden the liberals don't want to accept her story. It's like, okay, since when are you guys ever pro-trans anything? Right? So yeah, man, it's a real fucked up situation as far as the deception that was involved, the amount of confusion that's been generated because of it, the amount of flat out ignorance that a lot of folks have shown when it comes to black people, our culture, what it means to be black. You can't just say you're black because you raising 2 black kids. Hell, half the damn NBA wives could say that shit. They ain't walking around talking about they white, they black. Okay, man. All right, man. I gotta go. I said that I would keep this one short. I just had to get I had to do it. I had to get this shit off my chest before I went away for the week. But like I said, Thursday's my birthday, so I'm gonna be celebrating turning 35, and then I'll be going to my high school reunion, man, having some fun with some people I haven't seen in quite a while, reminiscing and having a good time. But before I get out of here, of course, hit me up. Let me know what you're thinking. Send me call me on the hotline, area code 313-288-0485. It's area code 313-288-0485. Leave me those voicemail messages. I will play those messages on the show and reply to them. Send me an email. The email address to the show is feedback@thespanreport.com. That's feedback@thespanreport.com. I will read those emails just like I just did Taiwan, and I will reply to those emails right here on the show. Also, give me a review. Go to iTunes, go to StitcherRadio.com. Search up the Spann Report. Give me a review, 5 stars preferably. Let me know what you're thinking, man. I'll read those on the show. I really need your thoughts. I fiend off your thoughts, man. Like, real talk. I'm a fiend for your thoughts. So yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking about the show. Leave a 5-star review, preferably on iTunes and or Stitcher. And chop it up with your man on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms, of course, is Mr._Spann, MR_Spann on both Twitter and Instagram. And for all of your Spann Report needs, go to thespanreport.com. Get all of the podcasts, all of the news stories. I'll have this episode up real shortly on the website and on iTunes, Stitcher, and wherever you get your podcast. But yeah, I'm looking for contributors to the Spann Report. So if you want to write about culture, if you want to write about technology, if you want to write about news, if you're from Detroit and you want to write about what's going on here in the D, hit me up at Mr.@thespanreport.com. That's MISTER at thespanreport.com. Send me those emails. Serious inquiries only. I'm dead serious. I need some contributors. I can't do all this shit by myself. That's right. So yeah, man. But that's it. I'll talk to you guys next time. So until next time, fam. Peace.